Hi, welcome back. And I just realized that I'm often standing in the center of the frame when I'm making these videos. I hope that's not boring. I could stand like this. I don't know if this is better. Like the microphone's here, so I have to kind of lean a bit. It doesn't matter. I'll make the video like this, but let me know in the comments if it's causing you pain and rage. So in today's video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about introverted feeling as opposed to extroverted feeling. And I'm going to make a comparison with introverted thinking versus extroverted thinking. And I'm going to talk about why FI, the main function of INFPs and ISFPs, and a very major function for ESFPs and ENFPs, why it's so important and why it's not just this emotional function or very self-involved function. It's a bit deeper than that. And I want to make a comparison basically with, okay, let's take an INTP and set this INTP aside. INTPs have got introverted thinking as their main function. And what I've noticed with some of my INTP friends is they never did very well in high school, where you're kind of spoon-fed information a lot of the time, and they don't really react very well to that. They want to work things out for themselves in their head. They want to put the dots together. And once they've put their own dots together, then they can kind of really believe and embrace their logic. And just being told that something is true isn't enough for an INTP. I guess ISTPs are pretty much the same here. They're a dominant introverted thinker. Like, even though there is a bit of a stereotype of you might get a sort of crackpot INTP who's coming up with calculations in their head and they've got their own inner logic that just doesn't work in the real world. You can imagine an ENTJ referring to an INTP as an egghead. They just want you to give them the facts, or they just want you to talk sense. Maybe an ESTJ will be more like that. And they might rubbish these ISTPs and INTPs and call them eggheads. I don't know. It's 2023. I don't know if that's I think we've all come to accept, we've always known, humans have always known that there's something in these people with their inner logic. They invent amazing things. They come up with equations that change the course of history. You've got Einstein and so on. And we accept that it's important not only to learn facts, but to understand where the facts come from. It's important not just to see the result on a calculator, but to learn how the result came about. Where did the extroverted thinking knowledge come from? It came from introverted thinking, right? And I think that we can actually apply this or compare it in some way to INFPs and ISFPs and how they use introverted feeling and why it's a very important aspect of extroverted feeling. If you've got, say, let's have a go at ESFJs and ENFJs, who are often very sweet, warm people with strong ethics, values, and so on. However, in most cases of ESFJs and ENFJs, even the best ones seem to have a bit of a problem sometimes. For instance, they might have particularly bad behaving people in their little social sphere. Now, it's nice when an ENFJ and an ESFJ reaches out to an ISFP or an INFP and sees that they're a bit shy and wants to help them maybe, and they might want to introduce you to their group. I'm just talking from my own personal experience. And it's very sweet that they do that, because INFPs and ISFPs need extroverted feeling validation very strongly. Otherwise, they get very depressed if, they've got all these feelings and values inside them, but are they being reflected in the real world? Well, you need to look at how FE works. You need to look at the world of extroverted feeling, how societies are built, how social groups work, how social dynamics work. And then you get these ENFJs and ESFJs who are really great at accepting people, but they might want to change you, They might go down this track of what kind of wanting to break you down and maybe even shame you a little bit. And it just doesn't work on FI users very well, because it's like, hang on, you're the introverted feeler. You don't need your values to have to be corroded just to fit into some group. It's just not going to work that way. And again, this is very much an ESFJ, ENFJ thing I've sometimes noticed, where they start losing track of themselves, their inner introverted feeling. They need to have this strong well of introverted feeling for their extroverted feeling to work. There needs to be some basis to their values, because they project values. ESFJs and ENFJs, the stereotype of them is all about being good to others and being and strengthening the social group. And you can't really have a good social group unless you've got some values and some understanding of other people. You're going to find ENFJs and ESFJs as they get older, they really get, you can see you can really feel and see the introverted feeling screaming from them. You know, they go off by themselves, they reflect, they focus on themselves very deeply on what their own personal narrative is. When they're not doing this, it's interesting. I had an ENFJ friend when I was living in Japan, and he really wanted to lift me up because I was making YouTube videos and he wanted me to be famous. And it was so big for him to make me famous. Problem is he wanted me to be famous, but he said, well, he did some equations using his inferior TI, and he sent me some pie charts, and he was really big on, I need to change my YouTube channel and stop focusing on my experiences in Tokyo and stop focusing on folklore and things like that, because nobody cares, Peter-san, about folklore or history. Or they care about sex. Sex is the biggest seller in the world, and he did a big pie graph of, I don't know, he must have made that up himself, and he really put the pressure on me to change my channel into a pickup artist channel, which I was not going to do. I thought it was stupid. I didn't know how to say it outright to him, so I would ignore him. I eventually told him after years of this, like, because I'm not gonna become an Andrew Tate style pickup artist, you know. And no, is he a pickup artist? No, he's not. At the time, it was the game. Anyway, I hate all of that so much, but unfortunately, a lot of ESFJs and ENFJ guys around me were so big on the importance of coming across as the type of person who can, pick up lots of girls, have lots of sex, and do it all for your own status because that makes you a better person or makes you, I don't know. Eventually, like, I told him, make your own YouTube channel about picking up girls if that's what you want to do, and he did. Now he's like a huge Japanese YouTuber making his income from it, so well done to him. But he did a Skype call with me about a year ago, and he was still asking me to come over and live in Japan. He said I can live rent-free with him and we'll make YouTube videos, and I'll be like the gaijin, the white guy on his YouTube channel doing dating advice or something. I don't know what his plan was. But he admitted to me, the ENFJ Japanese guy admitted to me that there is a strange feeling in his heart that he won't be proud of himself when he's older for making his money this way, for having like a pickup artist YouTube channel. And I suppose it's a long-winded way of saying it. It's like that, dare I say, is what happens when FE is not paying attention to their FI. What's the real value of what you're doing? Just like how an FI user needs to look at different cultures, look at and experience lots of different FE environments, and that will empower their FI even more. You know, it all goes hand in hand. It's like, again, extroverted thinking and introverted thinking. You can use introverted thinking to fine-tune extroverted thinking that exists and make the extroverted thinking even better. So if you're a Japanese YouTuber watching and you're not proud of what you're doing, you're not proud of meeting your fans in disguise, you know, doing things with them, and then you feel guilty afterwards, ask yourself, maybe I need to dabble in a little bit more FI. Probably shouldn't have told that story in a YouTube video, but I didn't name names and I'm going to stick with it. Yeah, I'm going to stick with this video. Anyway, let me know if any of this resonated with you in the comments, and I'll see you next time.